Columbus discovered America. You learned it in first grade. You probably still believe it. And it's completely wrong. First problem. There were already 50 to 100 million people living in the Americas when Columbus arrived. You can't discover a place where tens of millions of people already live. That's not discovery. That's showing up late. Second problem. Columbus never set foot on what we now call North America. Not once. He landed in the Caribbean, modern-day Bahamas, and later touched parts of Central and South America. The mainland? Never. Third problem. A Norse explorer named Leif Erikson reached North America around the year 1000, nearly 500 years before Columbus was even born. We've found the settlement. It's in Newfoundland, Canada. It's called L'Anse aux Meadows. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's not a theory, it's a dig site. So why was Columbus the story you got? Because in the 1800s, his voyage was popularized through a largely fictional novel by Washington Irving, and politically promoted as a founding myth for Italian Americans and Catholic Americans who wanted a hero in the official narrative. It was nation-building, not history. The real story of Columbus is that he opened sustained contact between Europe and the Americas. That contact had massive consequences, most of them catastrophic for the people already living there. That's the actual truth. It's complicated, it's dark, and it doesn't fit on a holiday. The food pyramid was about your health. The food pyramid. 6 to 11 servings of bread, cereal, rice, and pasta per day. That was the official government recommendation, in every textbook, on every school cafeteria wall. Here's what they didn't tell you. The food pyramid wasn't designed by doctors. It was designed by the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, whose primary job is to support American farmers and the agriculture industry. Not your body. The industry. When the original dietary guidelines were being drafted in the 1970s, the meat and dairy lobbies pushed back hard. Early versions of the guidelines said things like, eat less meat. The final published version said, choose meats with less saturated fat. The agricultural lobby literally rewrote government health advice. That's documented. That's not a theory. Harvard researchers built a completely different pyramid, the healthy eating pyramid, that looked almost nothing like the USDA version. More healthy fats, less refined carbohydrates, less dairy. Studies consistently showed better health outcomes with their version. The USDA pyramid was eventually scrapped in 2011, but by then, it had already shaped what an entire generation believed about food for decades. The system taught you nutrition. The system was compromised by the industry it was supposed to regulate, and you paid for it with your body, not theirs. You need college to succeed. From the time you were about 12, the message was the same. Go to college or you'll struggle. College is the path. College is how you make it. And they told you this while handing you the application for $40,000, $80,000, sometimes $200,000 in debt before you were old enough to rent a car. Here's what the data actually says. People with bachelor's degrees do earn more on average. That part is true. But the median student loan debt for a bachelor's degree is around $30,000, and starting salaries in many fields don't come close to servicing that debt without real strain. The math only works if the degree leads somewhere specific. And here's what school never told you. The question was never college versus nothing. The question was always, which path creates the most value for your specific skills and goals? Those are completely different questions. Right now, skilled trades are facing a massive shortage. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians. The average electrician salary in the U.S. is over $60,000. Master electricians often earn over $100,000. No student loans. High demand. Long career. Apple, Google, and IBM have already dropped college degree requirements for most of their roles. They're hiring based on demonstrated skills. The credential is losing its monopoly on opportunity. The lie was never that education is worthless. education is powerful. The lie was that a 4-year residential degree was the only legitimate form of it, and that it was worth any price. And the institutions telling you that were the same ones charging the price. Think about who benefits from that belief. The tongue taste map. This one almost seems too small to matter, but it's in here because it's a perfect example of how the whole system works. You were taught that the tongue is divided into zones: sweet at the tip, salty and sour on the sides, bitter at the back. Each zone has its job. Each zone has its location. Completely made up. The original research came from a German scientist in the early 1900s who mapped sensitivity differences across the tongue. His data showed slight regional variation. When his work was translated into English and simplified for textbooks, the nuance disappeared, and the map became law. The reality? Taste receptor cells are distributed across your entire tongue. You can detect sweet, salty, sour, and bitter everywhere. There is no zone system. Scientists also now recognize a fifth basic taste: umami, the savory depth in things like mushrooms, aged cheese, and soy sauce, which the old map didn't even acknowledge. Here's why this matters, even though it seems small. A simplified, distorted version of science made it into official educational material, stayed there for 50 years, and nobody questioned it, because it came from a textbook. That's the pattern. Not just here, everywhere. History is objective. We just teach what happened. This is the most sophisticated lie of all, because it doesn't look like a lie. It looks like neutral education. History as it's taught in school isn't just what happened, it's a selection. Someone chose which events get full chapters and which ones get a footnote. Someone chose whose perspective becomes the main narrative, and whose perspective becomes a sidebar, or disappears entirely. Belgian King Leopold II killed an estimated 10 million people in the Congo in the late 1800s and early 1900s. It's one of the worst atrocities in recorded history. Most American and European students learn almost nothing about it. During World War II, the U.S. government forcibly relocated 120,000 Japanese American citizens into internment camps. A clear constitutional violation, carried out by the country that was simultaneously fighting fascism. For decades, this received minimal textbook coverage. It was inconvenient to include prominently. Take the same events: World War II, colonial history, border conflicts, and read how they're described in textbooks from the US, China, Japan, Russia, and India. The accounts are incompatible. They can't all be objective. None of them are. This isn't about blaming teachers. Most teachers are working with the curriculum they were given. The curriculum reflects the values and interests of whoever controls it, usually the state. The system taught you history. The system wrote the history. That's not education, that's management. The pattern. So what connects all of these? Columbus, the food pyramid, the college path, the taste map, 50 years of wrong history. It's not one villain, it's a system with incentives. Governments want citizens who share a national identity. Industries want favorable policies and purchasing behavior. Institutions want their own continuation, and all of them have influence over what gets taught. Once something is in a textbook, it has authority. Teachers teach what they were taught. Students don't question what an official publisher printed. The loop closes, and it stays closed until someone breaks it open. Here's the thing: the system was never designed to produce people who question the system. It was designed to produce functional participants in the economy and citizens who identify with the nation. That's not a flaw, that was the goal. Understanding that changes how you consume information for the rest of your life. Not with cynicism, with clarity. Because the most powerful question you were never taught to ask is, who benefits from me believing this? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden patterns shaping how we live.